may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Alright guys, if y'all remember last week, I told y'all not to go out there and really bother with the running back position on the waiver wire unless you desperately needed production in the few injuries that you saw. I mean, it was just absolutely gross, and we just made Justin Jefferson and Brandon Ayuk, as well as T. Higgins, those three just looked like elite rookie wide receivers, are waiver wire targets. This week, I think there are actually a lot more intriguing running backs on the waiver wire that we can go out there that we can use to improve our teams. There are some serious injuries that we saw so far in the NFL. I mean, and this is being recorded before both games on Monday. So if anything happens then, I mean, we are subject to change. But regardless, already we have seen some great waiver wire running backs pop up. And I will, before we get into the video, I just want to give the quick announcement. Y'all know, generally we stream on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, and Sunday mornings. But this week, because they added that extra late Monday game, y'all know usually I stream as soon as the game ends on Monday, just because there's going to be another game kicking off at like 10 p.m. Eastern. I mean, I just can't. I can't stay up and start a stream at like 12:30. I just don't think that would be realistic because it would be like a 30-minute stream. So instead, we are just going to have to miss our first day on live streaming in like, I don't know how long. But anyways, we will be live on Tuesday night to answer all your fantasy football questions. I really hope to see y'all there. But let's get into these waiver wire running backs. And how I'm going to break this video down is I'm going to go from the most owned to the least owned running backs in terms of Yahoo Fantasy Sports. I think we have to understand that there are a ton of listeners to this channel now, and they all play at different league depths. So some players are going to be available in some leagues, some are not going to be available in others. So we're going to start with the guys that I believe are going to be just, I mean, not necessarily everywhere available, but later on we'll just get deeper and deeper till we get to the players that are only owned in 1% of leagues. But first, let's start with Phillip Lindsay. And now I was extremely surprised to see that after Phillip Lindsay's toe turf injury, a bunch of people went out there and actually dropped him based on needing some instant production. Now I'm looking at him being available in about 51% of Yahoo leagues, and that is just absolutely criminal. Because we understand that Phillip Lindsay, yes, he's going into his third season, I believe, and he has proven to be productive every single time he has touched the ball through the first 2 years. And I know Melvin Gordon is coming off of a fantastic game. I went out there and told y'all to plug in Melvin Gordon everywhere you can. I still stand by that after that Jets game, though. I think that he is going to be a sell high, and one of the main reasons is because Phillip Lindsay is going to be returning to this backfield. I think that we continue to see Phillip Lindsay go out there and, similar to week one, have a role in this offense, so he will provide you some standalone value just in case you lost a guy like Justin Jackson. Maybe Raheem Mostert isn't going to come back in week 5. I mean, the list of injuries are just going on and on and on in 2020, and a guy that having some standalone value at the running back position without even seeing an injury in front of him is going to be valuable, because I mean, we just saw how many COVID scares were there in week 4. I mean, at one point, we all thought the Saints and Lions game were going to be canceled. We thought the Pats and the Chiefs game were going to be canceled, and the Steelers and the Titans were already canceled. I mean, guys, so it was not looking good. And I think with the bye weeks upcoming, just overall understanding that the injury rate has been increased this season, it is going to be ideal getting some of these running backs that don't necessarily need an injury in front of them to be productive. I think that Phillip Lindsay does fall into that category, and I think that we can see Phillip Lindsay go out there and put up running back 2 production if Melvin Gordon goes down. It's very encouraging reading that Drew Lock is coming back to this offense sometime soon, because I went out there and I told y'all last week that the only concern with Lindsay and Melvin Gordon, honestly, was that the offense was just not going to be productive enough by missing Drew Lock. I didn't know how far they were going to be able to push the ball down the field on any given drive and get these running backs into scoring position. But reading that Drew Lock is coming back either this upcoming week or the week following, I think that Phillip Lindsay is going to be a fantastic add in all fantasy football formats. Now, this player, I don't understand how he's not owned in 95% of fantasy football leagues, but he is currently available in about 66% of Yahoo leagues. Chase Edmonds. I mean, what are y'all doing here with Chase Edmonds? Chase Edmonds is a premium handcuff running back, as is coming into the 2020 season, where we understood if anything happened to Kenyon Drake, Chase Edmonds was going to be able to go out there and he was going to be able to put up low-end running back 1, high-end running back 2 production. But what we have seen through 4 weeks, not only is Kenyon Drake so far extremely ineffective, but Chase Edmonds has a major role on this offense. I mean, just absolutely loving the fact that I don't have Kenyon Drake in a single league. I went out there and made this player a very much sell high coming into the season for us. I did not believe that he was going to be able to see a full workload. I did think the concerns were a little bit overblown last week, where I was maybe considering going out there and buying with the dip, but now we are seeing that he is just absolutely cratering. And a major part of that reason is that Chase Edmonds is having a significant role on this offense. Chase Edmonds is seeing targets out of the backfield. Chase Edmonds is seeing a good amount of snaps. And we understand that with Kenyon Drake, this running back through dating, I've said this so many times, but dating all the way back to college, he has never handled a feature down role in the NFL outside of the 3 or 4 week stretch that he did in Arizona in 2019. I think that Chase Edmonds is just a guy that is a must-own running back in every single one of your fantasy football leagues. I mean, just absolutely criminal. I figured that I would not have to talk about him. I thought that it was kind of ludicrous that he was not owned in just every league by now. But guys, if they do decide to bench Kenyon Drake, if Kenyon Drake ends up getting injured, Chase Edmonds in this offense led by Kyler Murray could end up being a running back 1. We've seen him just be a running back 1 every single time the starter in front of him has been injured and he's gotten the opportunity. So please, guys, make sure that Chase Edmonds is on your fantasy football roster. He's similar to Phillip Lindsay in that he also does have some standalone value based on his usage in the passing game. Now, I'm going to have a quick repeat for this next running back. I did mention him in last week's video, and I am recording this before the Patriots game kicks off on Monday, so I think we will see some more data points going into the week, but keep that in mind, and we are going to go out there and try to get Damien Harris on all of our fantasy football teams. He's currently only rostered in about 26% of fantasy football leagues, and I think that with Damien Harris coming back, we've seen Sony Michel in every week of his NFL career outside of week 3 in 2020 just be a horrendous running back, where I think Damien Harris has the size, he has the athleticism, he has the pass catching ability, that he can come in and he has the upside to be a 3-down running back for this New England Patriots team. And with Cam Newton going out there and just getting COVID, so we know Newton's going to be gone for the next couple weeks, I think that Brian Hoyer can go out there and dump the ball off to these running backs a little bit more. And I think Damien Harris, just on an overall Patriots team that really needs playmakers, may be able to go in there and have an impact. Okay, now let's get to the guys that are owned in like no leagues, so I know everyone is going to be able to go out there and pick them up. And let's talk about Justin Jackson first, owned in currently 5% of Yahoo Fantasy Sports leagues. I mean, obviously, this is by no means a sleeper. This is going to be the guy on the top of every waiver wire list that you see this week. But we are looking at Justin Jackson, and I've kind of said this since the beginning. You look at Joshua Kelly, and Joshua Kelly kind of prototypes to be the first and second down running back, where we know that Austin Eckler is more of a pass catching specialist, where Justin Jackson actually looks like he is also kind of like just a watered down version of Austin Eckler, where Jackson doesn't necessarily have the size to go out there and really be a 3-down ball carrier, but what he does have is he has that receiving game ability, and knowing that Justin Herbert is willing to check the ball down, I think we see Justin Jackson slide into a very similar role to an Austin Eckler. I don't think he's going to be able to be as efficient with the targets that he sees out of the backfield, but I think we could see a similar type thing in Los Angeles that we're seeing with Mike Davis in Carolina at the moment. And generally, I would not be too excited about Justin Jackson because of Joshua Kelly, but this is the second straight week that Joshua Kelly has lost a fumble. And I mean, how long can the coaching staff put up with that before they have to bench the rookie who was a day 3 NFL draft pick on? So it's not like they have a ton investment into him anyway. So I think we are going to see Justin Jackson go out there and be productive in a kind of watered down Austin Eckler type role. So go out there and make sure you put a waiver wire bid on Justin Jackson. Okay, now Dearness Johnson. I hope I said that right, because I never heard of this guy. And y'all know I go out there, I play in a ton of dynasty fantasy football leagues. I kind of pride myself in knowing like the 4th and 5th running back on every NFL roster based on knowing where they came from in college, knowing just everything they did at the combine and what type of profile of running back they are. But guys, I had no information on this guy. He was only owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues. And coming from someone who owns Kareem Hunt everywhere. As soon as I saw Nick Chubb go down, my automatic assumption was Kareem Hunt is getting every single touch in this game. Kareem Hunt is going to be a top 3 running back in fantasy football the rest of this week and the rest of 2020 if we did in fact see an ACL from Nick Chubb. Reports that came out later on that it is a little bit more optimistic with Nick Chubb. Keep in mind, this is something that we're going to have to monitor going into the week. I'm recording this on Sunday night, so currently I don't understand fully what's going on with that knee. But regardless, Dearness Johnson, I mean, I looked him up. I mean, he has absolutely no athleticism. It just does not matter. This Cleveland Browns run blocking unit is one of the best run blocking units in the NFL. And surprisingly, he went out there and he got opportunity when Nick Chubb left this game. They could have just pivoted it all to Kareem Hunt, and we did not see them do that. So while I am going to be going out there, and if Nick Chubb misses significant time, I think that Kareem Hunt is going to skyrocket in fantasy football value. In a year where we are just missing so many players from our lineup weekly, I think that Johnson is worth just being a waiver wire pickup, and that if we see something happen where maybe you have a Raheem Mostert, maybe you also had a Nick Chubb, and you desperately need a running back play, you can slide him into your RB2, understanding that maybe he gets 10 touches and possibly scores a touchdown and is able to provide you just that low-end RB2 numbers. But, man, guys, regardless, I think that the only reason I'm honestly interested in him is just because this has been a crazy season. So I think that just having any running back that you are going to be able to plug and play in the case of a COVID game, in the case of an unexpected injury, I think that's going to be something that is valuable and worth a roster spot. So currently only rostered in 1% of leagues. I would go out there and pick him up. I would not be running to start him in week 5, even if we see Nick Chubb miss some time, but I think he's worth a bench spot, and then we can reevaluate his role on this team. But thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed the video. I really hope y'all got something from it. And as always, I will be going live on Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Central to answer all of your questions. I really hope to see y'all there.